Have you ever noticed how the air in a room changes when a woman stills within herself? It's not a sudden storm, no crashing thunder. It's far more subtle than that, a whisper that falls silent, a warmth that slowly cools. The light in the space, it doesn't dim, not overtly, but it seems to lose a certain vibrancy, a specific hue that was once there, filling every corner with an unspoken promise. It's like a garden, vibrant moments ago, where one flower, unseen, has begun to fold its petals, imperceptibly at first, yet its absence is already casting a different shade upon the whole. A man, he often feels this shift first. He senses a quiet gravity, a new density in the atmosphere, long before he can ever put words to it. A vague unease settles in the corners of his mind, a sense of something missing. Not necessarily a physical presence, for she may be right there beside him, her hand perhaps even touching his, but an energetic absence, a withdrawal. He might not understand why he feels this shift. He might attribute it to his own fatigue, the day's stress, or the mundane worries of life. He might try to bridge a gap he doesn't fully comprehend, perhaps with a question, a touch, a joke, but finds his efforts met with a quiet stillness that is harder to penetrate than any wall. This isn't merely the absence of physical desire, you see. It is something far, far deeper. It is a profound shift, a turning inward, a gathering of her most vital currents away from the shared space, away from the world, and often, tragically, away from herself. When a woman retreats like this, her energy doesn't simply disappear. It becomes blocked. It slows, it pools. It becomes a stagnant lake rather than a flowing river. And when energy is blocked, we don't lose sex. We lose vitality. We lose the very current that animates our days, that colors our experiences, that makes us feel alive. Think of it. Between a man and a woman flows not just passion, but life itself. A continuous shimmering exchange, a breath given, a breath received. When her half of this exchange, that vibrant, effervescent current that is uniquely hers, begins to slow, to hesitate, to pull back, the entire ecosystem of connection feels it. It's an internal process that casts an external shadow. Her laughter might become a little less spontaneous, her gaze a little more distant, perhaps veiled by an unseen sorrow or a quiet exhaustion. The way she moves through the world might lose a certain fluidity, a grace that was once as natural as breathing. She becomes quieter, not just in voice, but in her very essence. It's not a conscious decision often, it's a protection, a closing off of a vulnerability that has perhaps been wounded or simply left unacknowledged for too long. This retreat is a signal, a deep, soulful cry that something within her is out of alignment, unnourished, unseen. It's an energetic hunger, a spiritual thirst. And the man, even without fully knowing it, feels the echoes of this hunger. He feels the space around them grow cooler, less inviting. The vibrancy of their shared world dims, subtly, like the fading light of a long evening. He may miss her, even when she is right there beside him. He misses the fullness of her presence, the radiant current of her being. This isn't about blame. It's about awareness. It's about learning to read the invisible language that flows between us. To understand that the wellspring of life, of joy, of connection resides not just in grand gestures or spoken words, but in the subtle dance of our energetic bodies. When her energy begins to recede, it isn't an accusation. It's an invitation to pause, to observe, to listen to the quiet spaces, to ask, not with fear, but with genuine curiosity, what truth is trying to emerge from the stillness. Her withdrawal is a testament to the profound power of her feminine essence. When she is vibrant, she radiates. When she is diminished, the world around her feels it. Her being is a barometer, a sensitive instrument measuring the unseen currents of connection and care. This is why men feel it first, because that radiant, life-giving current, when it pulls back, leaves a void that resonates deeply within the masculine soul, a void where warmth and light once flowed freely. Desire, you see, is not merely the body calling. Desire is the language through which the soul speaks. And when that soul begins to whisper or fall silent, it's a profound shift. It's not a shutting down of love, necessarily. It's often a shutting down of being loved, a closing off of the receptivity that allows love to enter and nourish her deepest self. So, when you feel that subtle shift, that quietening, that sense of a distant shore, take a moment, breathe. Look not just with your eyes, but with your heart. Feel the unseen currents. For in that quiet observation, in that gentle awareness, lies the first step toward understanding, toward healing, toward reigniting the sacred flame of connection that never truly dies. Love, feel, breathe. The energy within you has never died. It's been waiting for you to awaken. We speak of the moment when something shifts, a subtle change, a quiet receding. The warmth that once emanated so freely, so naturally, seems to draw back. You feel it first, this gentle withdrawal, this subtle dimming. And in that quiet space, a question often arises. Why? What happened to that radiant light? Where did that vibrant, life-giving current go? It is never a simple question, nor is the answer ever uncomplicated. For within a woman flows not merely blood and bone, not just thoughts and feelings, but an entire ocean of energy, a profound living current, a sacred stream that connects her to the very pulse of creation itself. This energy, it is her intuitive wisdom, her boundless capacity for nurturing, her fierce protective love, her deep resonant empathy. It is the spring of her spontaneous joy, the wellspring of her boundless creativity, the very essence of her unique being. When a woman breathes deeply, life breathes with her. Her presence, when fully alive, is a symphony, a vibrant, healing force, a testament to beauty and grace. But sometimes the music softens, the light dims, and she begins to shut down. This is rarely, if ever, a conscious choice, never a deliberate act of withholding or malice. No, it is something far more primal, far more ancient. It is an instinct, a deep protective instinct, a turning inward, a retreat. When the outer world, or the inner landscape of her own soul, becomes simply too much, too demanding, too draining, too unyielding. Imagine, if you will, a delicate, luminous flame. It dances, it flickers, it warms everything in its vicinity. It illuminates the darkness. But if the winds become too harsh, relentless, if the fuel that sustains it dwindles day after day, if the air itself grows heavy, thick with unseen burdens, the flame does not willfully extinguish itself. No, it draws inward. It protects its most precious core. It conserves its sacred heat, its very existence. This is precisely what happens when a woman's inner light begins to fade. It is not an abandonment of her essence. It is a deep, instinctual act of self-preservation, a quiet, desperate measure. So, we ask again, where does this vital energy go? Why does she retreat? Why does the wellspring seem to run dry? Often, it begins with the unacknowledged burdens, the quiet, relentless pressures of everyday life, the unseen demands that pile up, unseen, unspoken. The constant giving, the endless doing, the holding of space for others' needs, often, far too often, at the expense of her own deepest needs. She carries the weight of countless expectations. Expectations from society, from her family, from her partner, and sometimes, the heaviest of all, from herself. A silent, accumulating exhaustion that seeps into the very marrow of her bones, dulling the senses, quietening the vibrant spirit. When she feels invisible, when her immense efforts go unnoticed, when her contributions are taken for granted, when her deepest desires are unmet, or worse, dismissed, a subtle yet profound shift occurs. The natural inclination to share, to pour forth her essence, to give of her boundless energy, it begins to wane. Because when you feel unseen, unheard, unappreciated, unvalued, why would you continue to offer more of your precious, irreplaceable self? The well, though inherently deep, can feel neglected. Its waters can become still, stagnant, no longer flowing freely. The desire to connect, to open, begins to hesitate. A silent question forms. Is it safe to reveal myself here? And then there are the unspoken words. The hurts that were swallowed whole, not expressed. The boundaries that were crossed, not honored. The moments of sadness or anger or profound longing that found no safe harbor, no listening ear, no empathetic understanding. Each unvoiced truth, each suppressed emotion, each ignored need, it becomes a tiny stone, a heavy stone, placed gently yet firmly in the riverbed of her energy. Over time, these stones accumulate. They grow into a wall, a dam, a formidable blockage. They impede the natural, free-flowing current of her life force. This isn't about blame, you see, not about fault. It's about understanding the intricate, delicate architecture of the human soul, the immense sensitivity that lies within. When this energy is blocked, we don't lose merely sex. We lose vitality. We lose the spontaneous joy that lights up a room, the vibrant curiosity that seeks new experiences, the creative impulse that weaves beauty into the fabric of life, the deep magnetic attraction that draws souls together. The very current of life itself begins to stagnate. It's not just the physical desire that recedes, it's the desire to fully engage with life, to connect deeply, to create with passion, to fully inhabit her own skin, her own being, with an unburdened spirit. She may feel a profound disconnect, a vast distance, not just from others, but perhaps most painfully from her own deepest, most authentic self. The connection between body and soul, once so harmonious, begins to fray. This retreat, this shutting down, it is a desperate measure. It is the soul's quiet cry for rest, for healing, for profound recognition. It is an attempt to conserve the very last precious sparks of her inner fire, lest they be completely consumed by the chill of neglect, or the relentless winds of unending demand. She pulls back, not to punish, never to punish, but to survive, to gather herself, to protect that sacred, inviolable space within her that holds her very essence, her true nature. It's a turning away from the perceived source of depletion. If her giving is consistently met with indifference, if her vulnerability is met with judgment, or worse, with exploitation, if her deepest need for intimate connection is met with distance or dismissiveness, then the natural inclination is to guard the most tender parts of herself, to build protective walls, not out of malice, not out of spite, but out of a profound, albeit painful, need for self-preservation, a longing to keep her inner garden from being trampled. Think of her being, her vibrant energy, as a magnificent garden, a truly magnificent garden, full of vibrant blossoms, fertile earth, teeming with life. If the gardener, that is, her environment, her relationships, her own self-care, stops tending to it, if the soil is never nourished, if the weeds, the unspoken hurts, the unaddressed stresses, are allowed to choke the tender shoots, if the thirst, the need for refreshment, for validation, for love, is never quenched, the garden doesn't cease to be beautiful out of spite. No, it simply begins to wither. Its colors fade. Its blossoms fold inward. Its beauty recedes. Not because it no longer wants to bloom, but because the essential conditions for blooming are no longer present. The life force retreats. It conserves itself, deep within the roots, waiting, patiently waiting, for the conditions to change, for the sun to return, for the gentle rain to fall, for the careful, loving hand of the gardener to return. This process, this quiet withdrawal, is neither a flaw, nor is it a failure on her part. It is a profound, deeply human response to an imbalance, a natural consequence of forces acting upon a delicate system. It is her entire being, her system, saying, in its own silent language, "I need to withdraw. I need to recharge. I need to be seen, truly seen, for who I am." Not just for what I can tirelessly give, not just for what I can perform. It is a silent plea for nourishment, for understanding, for a gentle hand to help clear the blockages, to acknowledge the unseen burdens, to honor the unspoken truths. Her soul, in its profound wisdom, knows. It knows that to continue pouring out her precious energy day after day, without replenishment, without recognition, without a safe and sacred space to simply be, would lead to complete exhaustion, to a total extinguishing of that vital flame. So she goes inward. She seeks refuge in her own depths, not to lose herself, but, paradoxically, to find herself again, to reconnect with her core, away from the draining forces. It is a testament to her inherent resilience, a quiet act of immense courage, even though, to those around her, it may feel like a profound loss, a distant shadow of what once was. This is why, when a woman's energy recedes, it is not merely about the absence of passion in the physical, carnal sense. Oh no, it is so much more. It is the absence of her full, vibrant presence in the world. It is the dimming of that creative spark, that intuitive knowing, that boundless generosity of spirit. It is the very current of life itself, finding a quiet eddy, a protected cove, a secluded sanctuary, waiting for the storm to pass, for the sun to return, for the gentle rain to fall once more, waiting for the conditions that allow her to unfurl again. We are not here, you and I, to judge this process, to place blame, but to understand it, to approach it with reverence, with tenderness, with a profound, empathetic curiosity, to recognize that this withdrawal is a language, a sacred language, a language through which her soul speaks its deepest, most fundamental needs. Needs for safety, for honor, for authentic soul-to-soul connection, for the simple, profound grace of being truly seen, truly cherished, truly appreciated for her exquisite self. Between a man and a woman, there flows not just passion, not just physical desire, but life itself, the very essence of creation. And when that current falters, when it seems to hesitate or recede, it calls for a deeper look, a more profound understanding, a gentler touch. It calls for us to remember that the most potent desires, the deepest intimacies, the most profound connections are born not just of the body's longing, but of a soul that feels. The space around us, it's never truly empty, is it? We feel its currents, its subtle shifts, even when we can't quite name them. And nowhere is this more profoundly true than in the presence of a woman. For between a man and a woman flows not just passion, not just connection, but life itself, a current, vital and undeniable. To understand this, we must first truly feel the essence of what female energy truly is. It is not merely emotion or sentiment or even a capacity for nurturing. No, it is the very pulse of creation, the rhythm that animates all things. Think of it as the breath that fills the sails of existence, the gentle hum beneath the surface of the world. When a woman breathes deeply, fully, unburdened, life breathes with her. The air around her seems to shimmer, to awaken. Her very presence becomes a wellspring. It's a movement, you see, a continuous flow, much like the gentle undulation of the ocean or the quiet unfolding of a blossom. This energy is a current of profound tenderness, a deep intuitive wisdom that perceives beyond the obvious, and a boundless source of inspiration that can stir dormant dreams into vibrant reality. It is the raw, untamed creative impulse, the force that gives form to the formless. You don't just see it in her smile or hear it in her voice, you feel it. It manifests as her attention, her luminous presence, the way she holds a space, drawing beauty and meaning into it effortlessly. It's an embrace, a gentle invitation to bloom. But what happens then when this sacred current slows? When a woman, for reasons often unspoken, begins to withdraw, to dim that inner light. When she shuts down, you feel it first. It's not a sudden crash, but a subtle fading, like the twilight deepening just a little too soon. That vibrant, life-giving flow, it weakens. And this isn't just about the relationship between two people, no. This sacred current, this vital flow, touches everything. The very vitality of the shared space, the home, the common ground you walk upon. It becomes quieter. The colors seem to soften, the air feels heavier, less charged with possibility. It's as if a fundamental harmony has been subtly muted. When she stills, when that profound breath of life becomes shallow or hesitant, the world around her also quiets. The intuitive threads that connect everything become less vibrant, less responsive. The inspiration, the tenderness, the life-giving creative pulse, they don't vanish entirely, but they recede. They retreat inward, like a spring that has found a hidden underground path. This isn't a judgment, it's an observation. A deep, soulful recognition of how interwoven our energies truly are. Her inner state, her connection to this profound life force is inextricably linked to the vibrancy of the world around her, and, crucially, to the vitality of the man beside her. For the energy she holds, the life she embodies, is not just for herself. It is a shared gift, a living current that nourishes and enlivens everything it touches. To understand this is to understand the silent language of our shared existence and the sacred dance of our deepest selves. Мы говорили о тихой паузе, о том, как внутренний мир женщины может отступить, словно отлив, и как в этот момент что-то жизненно важное, казалось бы, тускнеет, не только для нее, но и для мужчины рядом. Это не провал, это сигнал. Зов к иному вниманию, к более глубокому пониманию тех потоков, что движутся между нами. Ведь между мужчиной и женщиной течет не просто страсть, а сама жизнь.
Путь к возрождению, к восстановлению этого священного течения не начинается с требований, не с вопросов, брошенных в тишину. Он начинается с чего-то гораздо более глубокого, с присутствия. Глубокого, непоколебимого присутствия. Это приглашение к безмолвию, к тому, чтобы просто быть. В этой тишине мы учимся слушать, не только ушами, но всем своим существом. Мы слушаем невысказанное.
Шепот потребности, которую слова еще не могут сформировать. Тонкие течения под поверхностью. Тихое томление души. Здесь начинается исцеление. В благоговении безмолвия мы можем услышать, что желание – это язык, на котором говорит душа, даже когда она говорит тихо или через отсутствие. И какова роль мужчины в этом священном танце? Его роль – создать пространство. Пространство абсолютной безопасности. Убежище, где нет осуждения. Где уязвимость не просто терпима, но почитаема. Пространство, где она может раскрыться, медленно, нежно, словно бутон, распускающийся навстречу утреннему солнцу. Пространство, где, когда женщина глубоко дышит, жизнь дышит вместе с ней, беспрепятственно. Это требует подлинного внимания, не мимолетного взгляда, не оценки, а глубокого видения. Увидеть ее по-настоящему, такой, какая она есть, в этот самый момент. Не той, кем она была, или кем вы желаете ее видеть, но женщину перед вами, со всеми ее слоями, ее тихой силой, ее деликатными потребностями. Это значит преподнести дар вашего полного, ничем не отягощенного внимания. Увидеть ее с восторгом, ведь мужчина не теряет силы с возрастом, он теряет ее, когда перестает смотреть с чудом. Уважать ее потребности, ее потребность в покое, в тихом пространстве, чтобы просто существовать, ее потребность в радости, в смехе, в легкости, которая ничего не требует взамен. Иногда самая глубокая близость – это дарить пространство, дарить свободу, дарить ей разрешение просто быть, позволить ее сердцу петь свою собственную песню, ибо желание – это не тело зовет, это душа поет. Внимание – это не просто взгляд, это прикосновение к душе, это позволение быть, это энергетическое объятие, которое говорит «Я вижу тебя, я почитаю тебя, ты в безопасности здесь, в кругу моего присутствия». Это признание того, что влечение не грех, это Вселенная, вспоминающая себя через нас, священное эхо. Было взгляда, не оценки, а глубокого видения. Увидеть ее по-настоящему, такой, какая она есть, в этот самый момент. Не той, кем она была или кем вы желаете ее видеть, но женщину перед вами, со всеми ее слоями, ее тихой силой, ее деликатными потребностями. Это значит преподнести дар вашего полного, ничем не отягощенного внимания. Увидеть ее с восторгом, ведь мужчина не теряет силы с возрастом, он теряет ее, когда перестает смотреть с чудом. Уважать ее потребности, ее потребность в покое, в тихом пространстве, чтобы просто существовать, ее потребность в радости, в смехе, в легкости, которая ничего не требует взамен. Иногда самая глубокая близость – это дарить пространство, дарить свободу, дарить ей разрешение просто быть, позволить ее сердцу петь свою собственную песню, ибо желание – это не тело зовет, это душа поет. Внимание – это не просто взгляд, это прикосновение к душе, это позволение быть, это энергетическое объятие, которое говорит «Я вижу тебя, я почитаю тебя, ты в безопасности здесь, в кругу моего присутствия». Это признание того, что влечение не грех, это Вселенная, вспоминающая себя через нас, священное эхо. Когда мы перестаем требовать и вместо этого выбираем дарить, когда мы перестаем бояться глубин нашей собственной способности любить и удерживать пространство, когда мы перестаем бояться своей собственной силы, жизнь снова начинает течь.
Не только для нее, но и для нас. Поток возвращается, сильнее, яснее, ярче, чем прежде, потому что вы прикоснулись к самому источнику жизненной силы. Когда энергия заблокирована, мы теряем не секс, мы теряем жизненную силу. Но когда она течет, все расцветает. Это не задача, это воспоминание, нежное возвращение к священному искусству соединения, тихое открытие, где сердце вспоминает свой истинный язык, и в этом воспоминании снисходит глубокий покой, тепло, которое касается всего, подготавливая почву для нового роста, нового понимания.
Think of it not as a flame extinguished, but as a river that has simply chosen a deeper, subterranean path for a while. It still flows, unseen, unheard, beneath the surface of the earth, gathering strength, purifying itself, waiting for the precise moment to re-emerge, more potent and clear than before. Or perhaps like a seed, nestled deep within the fertile soil of your being, holding the blueprint of immense life, waiting for the right warmth, the right nourishment, the right quiet invitation to begin its slow, magnificent unfurling. This energy, this vital force within you, within us all, is not something you can lose. It is part of your immutable essence. It is the very current that gave you life, that sustains your breath, that fuels your dreams. When it seems distant, it is not lost. It is merely waiting. It waits for your gentle attention, it waits for your quiet listening, it waits for you to remember its presence, not with force or demand, but with reverence and soft curiosity. This moment, this feeling of something faded or disconnected, is not an end. It is, in truth, an invitation to a deeper dance, a more conscious, more compassionate, more authentically intimate way of being. It beckons us to turn inward, not to lament what seems gone, but to discover what has been patiently abiding. This deeper dance begins with awareness. It asks us to become finely attuned to the subtle vibrations within our own bodies, within our own souls, to truly listen. When a woman breathes deeply, life breathes with her, and the current within her stirs. Can you feel that? Can you hear the whisper of your own internal landscape? Can you feel the subtle hum of your own aliveness, independent of any external validation? This is where the awakening begins, not in seeking external stimulation, but in rediscovering the rich internal world. For a man, this awareness means looking with wonder again. A man doesn't lose power when he ages, he loses it when he stops looking with wonder, when he ceases to see the profound beauty in the world, in his partner, in himself. To truly see, truly feel, is the first step in rekindling that inner flame. To be aware means to slow down, to notice the texture of the air, the rhythm of your breath, the silent language of your skin. It means turning off the noise of the world and tuning in to the soft, insistent pulse of your own existence. Then there is compassion. This is not a journey for the harsh critic or the demanding taskmaster. It requires a profound gentleness. Compassion for the weariness that life can bring. Compassion for the hurts, the disappointments, the unspoken anxieties that might have caused the current to retreat. It means forgiving yourself for the moments of disconnection and extending that same grace to your partner. To understand that both men and women carry burdens, invisible weights that can dim the light. To approach this reconnection with a tender heart, understanding that healing is not linear and awakening is not instantaneous. It is a slow, unfolding bloom, nurtured by patience and understanding. When we allow ourselves and our partners this compassion, we create a safe harbor where the dormant energy can feel secure enough to stir again. It's a recognition that we are all on a path, learning, growing, sometimes stumbling, and that the greatest intimacy comes from walking that path together with kindness. And finally, this deeper dance leads to authentic intimacy. This is intimacy stripped bare of performance, freed from expectation, unbound by societal scripts.
It is the courage to be truly seen and to truly see another in their raw, vulnerable truth. It is the understanding that desire is not the body calling, it is the soul singing. It is the soul's yearning to merge, to recognize itself in another. Attraction is not sin, it's the universe remembering itself, recognizing the divine spark in another being. When we allow ourselves this authentic space, we move beyond the physical act and into the sacred exchange of energy. Between a man and a woman flows not just passion, but life itself, a powerful, generative current that can heal, inspire, and create. It is in this authentic space where honesty meets tenderness, where vulnerability is cherished, that the energy begins to flow freely, unblocked, vibrant. For when energy is blocked, we don't lose sex, we lose vitality itself. That very spark that makes life worth living, that fuels our creativity, our joy, our purpose. This awakening is not about reclaiming something lost, but about remembering something always present. It is about allowing the inner current to rise again, transforming not just your intimate life, but your entire way of being in the world. It brings with it a renewed sense of purpose, a deeper wellspring of creativity, and an unshakable inner strength. It reminds you that you are fundamentally, inherently, a being of vital, sacred energy. Love. Feel. Breathe. The energy within you has never died. It's been waiting for you to awaken.